Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace. Welcome to another episode of Croc Talk TV. I am your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And today, I wanted to come on. I got the idea to come on to discuss this debate between Deebo Samuel, Brandon Aiyuk, fantasy football. Who you riding with? All right. So I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys to join me live and we can debate this man to man, mano y mano. All right. So we're going to do all that and more. I got some secondary talk. All right. I want to get into some Jason Verrett, prime for a big year. We're going to get into some of that. And are there some of these secondary concerns with the 49ers? Are you guys confident with who they have on the back end? All right. But first, before we get started with all that, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Make sure you guys hit the like button. All right. Hit the like button right now. And excuse me, we're going to get started. All right. Oh, by the way, this podcast, this show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. I saw my numbers. I got my numbers today. You guys did excellent. I appreciate everybody who signed up using the promo code Crocky. If you haven't already, download Underdog Fantasy or go to underdogfantasy.com. Use promo code Crocky. And when you deposit a minimum of $10, all right, a minimum $10, you get an additional $25 into your account. Now, I know most people think, oh, Underdog Fantasy is just a fantasy app. It's much more than that. You guys can wager on things. They got all these really cool prop bets, all right, that you can wager on. So say it's 49ers versus Lions. You'll be able to pick who you think is going to do better, right? They have this pick 'em. Do you think Jared Goff is going to do better or Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, who's going to have the better numbers? And you can actually pick who you want. You can do Deebo Samuel or any, and you can parlay it with any games around the league. So again, underdogfantasy.com or Underdog Fantasy app, promo code Crocky, deposit a minimum $10. When you do that, you get an additional $25 when you use my promo code Crocky. That's CROCKY. All right. We'll let some people filter in here. I appreciate everybody that's in here right now. Let's go. I'm reading some of these comments. Here we go. Tyreek Hill confessed that Mahomes' rookie season, Hill thought Mahomes was trash. Do you feel there's a stark difference between Lance's pro readiness and Mahomes coming out of Texas Tech? Man, I'd say everybody's different, man. Like, everybody's different. Everybody's going to go through different things. What challenges Mahomes might have had could be different from what challenges that Trey Lance might have. So it's really hard to compare, guys. I mean, look at Josh Allen. We've seen what Josh Allen has become. But even then, we look at, the big frame, the strong arm, the athleticism. You can look at some of the things that's comparable with Trey Lance. But even then, some of the issues that Josh Allen might have had could be different because just the different mental makeup or whatever the case is. So it's so hard, man, to compare guys. I'd say at the end of the day, if it were up to me, just play your young guy, man. Get him those reps. Play your young guy. Sneaker whores, what up? All right, my dog Stretch. Stretch, I'm finna get you in here right now. Hold on. So, of course, we wanted to start by debating Brandon Aiyuk versus Deebo Samuel. And I think they are both terrific receivers. And I think they're going to have an excellent year. But if I had to go fantasy, I'm going with Deebo Samuel. I know it sounds crazy. I know what I said earlier this week. My guy saying that Deebo, some of the injury issues that he may potentially have because of the way he runs, because of the way he walks, because of the way he trains, right? And now I'm just kind of gambling here. I'm gambling on the fact that I think that he's going to be healthy. And if he is, I think the way they can utilize him, not just as a gadget guy, which we've seen over the past year or so, right? But really down the field. And we've already seen some of that with Trey Lance throwing the ball. He's caught 2 bombs from Trey Lance so far. Bombs downfield. He can stretch the field. Hasn't had the quarterback to really get him the ball down the field. All right. So I think Trey Lance, if he's there, we're going to even see the more explosive version of Deebo Samuel, along with what I like to say, like cheap targets, right? cheap production that you can get him. The reverses, the shovel passes, and he gets a lot of yards off those. He scores touchdowns off of those. I just think it's going to be a little bit too much. But I have more on this argument. But before I do that, I'm going to bring on some guys. So I'm leaving this up open for y'all. Whoever wants to come on here and just state your reasoning, right? Click that link right there. Click the link. Don't be scared. All right, don't be scared. Come on there. Click the link and let's talk about it. Let's debate it. Got 20 people in here. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. All right. But yeah, man, if I had to go with one of the two, I'm going with Deebo Samuel. And it's really crazy to me that he's going later. And I get it. I think there's a lot of people that are getting scared off because he has had some injury issues, right? I almost think that the injury issues are a little blown out of proportion. But before I get into all that, okay, we got two people on here. All right, we got Stretch. We got Dion. All right, we're going to ask Stretch first, baby. What's up, man?
What's poppin'? How you doing?
I'm good. Finally got you on.
Yeah, what's good, man?
I'm good. So, I know, man. People think I'm crazy for saying Deebo over Aiyuk. I mean, it was overwhelming in favor of Aiyuk. I'd say probably 7 out of every 10 people said that Aiyuk would do better from a fantasy standpoint. So you were one of them. And I want to hear your standpoint on that.
Well, from my opinion, Aiyuk can do everything that Deebo can do. He's not as fast, and he doesn't run as violent, but he can do all the same shit, which is why he was drafted. And he has a way wider catch radius. He's a better receiver, in my opinion, than Deebo. So if it was up to me, and don't get me wrong, I love Deebo. I love him like a distant cousin, but I'm getting Aiyuk. I'm taking Aiyuk.
So what do you think? Like, if you had to kind of just guess right now what the numbers would be for the year, what do you think that would look like from both guys? And we got to, I mean, because we're talking about Debo and really Ayuk and how Kyle Shanahan has ran his offense, we have to include rushing numbers in this as well.
I know. I was just thinking about that. I think that man, rushing numbers. I think Debo can have up to. I don't know. He can get up to 200 and then still have like eight 900 receiving because
So you're
they
talking about,
manufacture
so, so
if
you're
he's
talking
healthy all
about,
season.
right? So you're talking about an 1,100 yard season for him total.
Yes,
All
but I
right,
also
now
think
when
that IU can get rushing yards. Maybe not as much as Debo, but I think he'll break 1,000 in a receiving. I think he'll get 1,000 in the receiving if I think we're going to have competent quarterback play regardless of who's quarterbacking. So we're not going to have a C.J. Beathard or Nick Mullins. So I think that he'll break. He had 800 last year with Nick Mullins, and C.J. So I'm talking about Ayuk. He's gonna
right.
break 1,000 this year as long as he's healthy, and he had COVID. He didn't even play all 16 games. He still broke 800.
And with all the concerns, with all the injury concerns with Debo Samuel, no, everybody leaves out IU too. And again, I'm not like attacking Ayuk or anything like that. But that is a guy who he missed 4 games, 2 games of COVID, but he also missed the first game because he kind of came in with like a hampered, like hamstring or whatever it was, and then he missed the last game because he had a high ankle sprain. So if there was more season, like if 49ers were going to the playoffs, he would not have been able to play because of the high ankle sprain. So I know everybody talks about Debo Samuel and the potential of injuries, but Ayuk's, his slate ain't clean.
But the difference is 2 games where, like you said, word to COVID. There's really not much you can do about that. And Debo, he every year we've had him, but 2 years he's been hurt for extended periods of time. So he
No,
got more of a
not his
track.
rookie year.
He got hurt.
He missed 1 game, Washington. He played what, 18 games? Because they played 19 games. He played 18 games.
I
Even
gotta
more if
look
you
at
want to
that.
count preseason, because he even had preseason and he played in every preseason game.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I feel like he got hurt.
He missed 1 game, Washington. That was it.
I'm glad he missed that game for me. But the Mud Bowl, I'm glad he missed that one. If that's what he gonna miss,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I felt like he
I
got
know
hurt,
it
or
does
if
seem like he
something
was heavily injured.
if something hampered him or slowed him down, then maybe he didn't miss a game. But I think he was still hurt, with dealing with
He
something.
he got banged up. There was something in the Arizona game, but he came back. He had a big game, over 100 yards.
Mm, I don't remember that. I'm not gonna say in front. But yeah, if I was to pick one, I'm going Ayuk, and I just think that he could do everything that Debo does. He's just a way better catcher. He's a way better receiver. He got
All
better mitts,
right.
and he got longer arms.
We're gonna see because I think, and I'm gonna get and Dion. I see you on here. I'm gonna get you on in a second, but and I know I think how people perceive Debo Samuel, is just gadget guy, violent runner, strong, and that they say those things, but to me, it's like, man, he's much more than that. Like, I think he's a much more nuanced route runner than people give him credit for. I think he has quickness. I think his releases are good. I think he's a good vertical threat. When you watch him at South Carolina, they used him at all levels of the field. It wasn't until he got to the 49ers where it was like he was just a slant catch and go guy, catch and run guy, and just reverses. Now he did some of that stuff at South Carolina, but he's been strictly that with the 49ers, where at South Carolina he was everything to them. They threw him the ball. Shoot, he caught a ball vertically on Emmanuel Mosley in college. You know what I'm saying? At the catch point. And it was contested catch. And he does that. Then when they have thrown him contested catches
He went up
so
and got him.
far, he went up
I
and gets
know
them. So that's
he
what I'm
went
saying.
up and
So
got him. I'm already knowing. I just don't
yeah,
think he's a better. That doesn't make him a better receiver, in my opinion, to Ayuk. I mean, I think he can do what Ayuk do, but he can't do it better. Just
but
like
you
I
said
said
you
when
said Debo's faster.
yes,
You say he is more explosive. You say we know what he
facts,
does after the catch. So far
facts.
he's been like better with the ball in
But
his hands.
I don't think he's head and shoulders better.
All right,
I
I
think
don't
he's
know.
better. I think he's better, but I don't think he's head and shoulders better. If it was up to me, I mean, I have them both, but it just depends on where you drafted them, and if they both still on the board, yeah, I'm definitely going Ayuk. I mean, I think it all depends on where you're picking these guys at the same time. You don't want to pick either one too early. They're gonna be there late, so
I think Ayuk is going kind of early.
then I would get Debo late. Then
Yeah,
if that's the case, I'm not picking Ayuk early.
right.
He's a mid round draft pick, and Deebo is not too far behind him.
All right, man. Stretch, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get you back on here. I'm gonna get my guy Dion on here real quick.
Yes, sir. I'll
Appreciate you
be
for
tuning
coming on,
in.
big dog.
You already got it. You already know. Anytime. Peace.
And again, if you guys don't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. If you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button. Again, this show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. So if you haven't already, what I need you to go do right now, download the Underdog Fantasy app. All right. Promo code Crocky when you sign up is going to throw in an additional $25 into your account. I'm telling you, this app is dope, man. They got all these player prop things. I can't wait for the season to start because you can just pick. They got pick'ems. Who do you think is going to do better? Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff. And it's going to show their numbers. You choose who you want to get, who's going to do better. Boom. You can add it to parlays. Who's going to run for more yards in that game or other games around the league? All kind of good stuff, man. So download Underdog Fantasy app. Promo code Crocky. Get you an additional $25 when you sign up. Dion.
What's good with you, Croc?
What up, man? So, we on here, we debating. Everybody's telling me that I'm just so wrong. Like, I'm dead wrong for having Deebo Samuel or saying I would draft Deebo Samuel over Brandon Aiyuk. All right. So, what's your take on that? What's your thoughts? Where would you lean?
To be honest with you, it all depends on what you really want in a receiver. Because people don't understand that Debo is truly a damn good receiver. You got
Right.
to remember, like, at the end of the day, the number one thing that you have to look at when it comes to production is who's throwing you the ball. Like, Kittle broke that touchdown record with a quarterback carousel. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So with Debo, yes, his versatility allows you to get more out of him. You know what I mean? He can run, he can catch. Yes, he's a member of the Yak Bros. All that stuff is all well and good, but does he want to be just a true receiver? Yeah, of course. And to be honest with you, from the size and standpoint and the way that he runs, he probably fits more of a slot role. When you look at just the type of guy that he is. Brandon Ayuk is your more prototypical average everyday wide receiver. And I don't say average to be rude or negative, it's just a term in general. That he's your prototypical guy. But to be honest with you, I'll take Deebo. I'm with you. I'll take Deebo
Yeah.
all day just because of the versatility. If I know I
Right.
can throw this guy end around and he got to get me 20, 30 yards and or possibly even score, I'd rather roll with that. It's nothing against Aiyuk. I like him. I love his athleticism. Aiyuk is one of those people. What I noticed from his season last year is he just doesn't go down. Like you're gonna if you got players in the league, and I know you seen this playing DB. You have players in the league. They think when they hit you, it's a wrap. But you in big boy leagues, these people bounce off them hits all day long. So with Ayuk, I've seen that's one thing. You can hit him once, twice, three, four, five, six times. He seems to keep his equilibrium is second to none. He seems to keep his balance ridiculously. And with Deebo, it's more so he's got that angry runners type of mentality because he does. He runs like a running back when he has the ball in his hands. But due to his versatility, I'd rock with Deebo.
Yeah. Now, and I'm with you, man. I look at Deebo, and one thing I do want to say is, you kind of talked about Brandon Aiyuk and kind of how to utilize Deebo Samuel. I will say Deebo Samuel, Brandon Aiyuk, he can do all the same things that Deebo can. Like from a running the ball standpoint, like we've seen it. His first touchdown was an end around, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
first time he got into that end zone, I want to say it was against the Giants. He got on the end around,
Yep.
ran through, scored. So they've done a lot of different things where they used Aiyuk in that way. What I'm thinking though is if Deebo Samuel is healthy, do they still utilize Aiyuk in that way? Right? I think that's going to take a little bit of touches away from Aiyuk from that standpoint. I do, however, think that Aiyuk, I don't expect his like catches to go down. I actually expect him to go up. Right? We're talking about him being out 4 games last year and being able to improve on that. So what do you have, like around 60 catches last year, close to
Yeah.
800 yards, around 800 yards. I
Right. Yeah.
expect
Right
him to
around
do.
800.
I expect him to do better than that. You know what I'm saying? Like his numbers going to go up from there. But I also think that Deebo Samuel, we watched him his rookie year and how he was utilized. And when you start to kind of put them in there and mix them into the game plan, I just feel like there's way more ways that they're going to manufacture touches for Deebo Samuel. He's going to get more cheap touchdowns. He's going to get more cheap touches around the line of scrimmage. And if I'm looking at it from a pure fantasy football standpoint,
Oh,
I
Debo's
gotta
way.
lean.
He's worth
I
way more.
gotta lean a little bit more towards
Yeah.
Deebo, but that's not the way that it's going right now. When you look at the ADP, Aiyuk is going higher. Aiyuk's going
That's
higher.
the only reason that I think that Ayuk is going higher is because of his pure receiving ability. So what people are looking at is they're saying he's gonna give you 5 to 10 catches at a bare minimum 100 yards and usually at least about a TD or two, every game. That's what people are looking at. It's like a law of averages that they're using their own methods. Because I got one of my buddies, man, he plays fantasy football like crazy. His drafts are insane. I don't even play with him because it's too much thinking. Like I'm like, bro, I just want to pick somebody and move on. He's like, nah, you got to pick him for this reason, that reason. This person actually does this. Like he's like Cynthia Freeland for NFL Network. Like he literally gets all into it. But that's why people are doing it because they know from a pure wide receiving standpoint, Ayuk will get you the stuff week in and week out. And at the same time, yes, Deebo does have a little bit of an injury history. He had it in college, and we had it last year with COVID and everything like that. Of course, he wasn't on that list, but he did wind up getting injured. So, honestly, when you're picking between those two and it comes to fantasy, you're going to have to hinge your bets on, is Deebo going to remain healthy? If he is, he's a surefire bet. I know I'm going to get more points out of him due to the rushing and the receiving. If I don't feel like Deebo is going to be able to be healthy throughout the full year, if I feel like his role might possibly be reduced by somebody emerging and being a better, just pure receiver than him, and they throw him in the slot, which means it is lessened. Then you go ahead and you go with Aiyuk. Me personally, I'd roll with Deebo, and I think Deebo could have at least anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 yards from scrimmage between rushing and
Right.
receiving.
Right.
Because if it provided we're healthy, this is a team that can do so much. And you got to think about it. Say Trey Lance winds up coming in game 5, game 6, because unfortunately, God forbid, some freaking nature thing happens with Jimmy and he can't play. Now you expand it even more, because there was too many times last year where I literally saw Aiyuk having a 2-year-old fit on the field because he's standing there wide open and nobody got him the damn ball. Like he
Right.
literally was on the field like really seriously angry and frustrated, and very validly so. So if you're gonna go with fantasy people, look at those two options, and I say honestly, go with Deebo because he's gonna get you way more points at the end of the day.
That's what I'm looking at. So we got some people in here that are commenting a little bit, and there was one in particular. Here we go, infamous 3709. All right,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, you got a lot to say. So click that link and join. I don't think you can click it from Periscope though, so you're gonna have to come over. If you are on Periscope, you watching on Periscope right now, come over on YouTube. The link is on my page, probably underneath this post. Click the YouTube link, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, join the chat in here, and it'll allow you to come on through StreamYard. All right, so all this that you're saying right here, you can come on live and just talk about it with me, man. All right, but there was one that I wanted to discuss, and it's right here. Boom. I think you guys are disregarding catches too much, and he's talking about in the sense of Deebo Samuel and Aiyuk, saying basically like, we're saying that Aiyuk will get more catches, but we're still taking Deebo Samuel, which isn't the case. I look at games like, look at the Rams game with Deebo Samuel, and he had like 100 yards and a touchdown, and he had like 6 or 7 catches, and you're like, when the heck did Deebo get 6 or 7 catches? And there's shovel passes, screen passes, shovel, screen, shovel. Like, so I'm not disregarding it. I just know the way they utilize him, they just get the ball in his hands a bunch of ways around the line of scrimmage. And I think that's one, is very high efficiency. 2, it's just easier because he's just right there. And I feel like that's always going to be there. They're always going to figure out those ways to get him the ball in his hands. Now, we'll also say that they can do those same things with Brandon Aiyuk, but I don't think they'll do it to that extent when they have Deebo on the field. I think a lot of Aiyuk's production came when there was no Deebo Samuel. Now, that's not to say that Aiyuk won't have a good year. I think he is going to be clear cut. When you talk about wide receiver 1, he might even be target 1. I don't know. I mean, if you're looking at how they're going right now, and maybe it's just training camp, but Kittle isn't getting a high volume of targets. A lot of it's going to Brandon Aiyuk right now. All right. But I also think right now they're probably not including a lot of the shovel passes and screens and things that they're going to do with Deebo Samuel once the game starts. But they're right now, like, if are we going to look and see that Aiyuk and Deebo will be the most targeted players on the roster and kind of take a little bit from Kittle? Maybe they're trying to keep them fresh for the season, but I think that's something interesting right there.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying as far as like we're not looking at catches like that, but the issue is that it is Deebo's versatility, and I think that's what a lot of people keep sleeping on. When you have a player, if you're from a purely from a standpoint of fantasy, if you have a player that does 2 things and they do 2 of those things damn well, and you know for a fact that they are used that way, and you know they're gonna get you more points, why not roll with them? Well, I'd rather take Deebo on a couple of runs and a touchdown, and then a couple of catches and a touchdown to know that my fantasy points are going to skyrocket, rather than taking Aiyuk and saying to myself, okay, what if he goes up against that shutdown DB? I don't want to. There's nothing against Aiyuk, but I don't think I want to take him against Jalen Ramsey right now. You know what I'm saying? That there's things you got to look at the matchups, and it's just a game of numbers. And to me, period, you just literally have to go ahead and you got to take the guy that's going to put up the numbers week in, week out. And, I think that Deebo Samuel is just that guy. I like Brandon Aiyuk. I know what he brings to the table, and I love his athleticism. But you just get 2 for 1 with Deebo, so that's the special, and that's the house special. So you run with it just as he runs with it. And he reminded Aaron Donald of that when he was a little salty after the game last year, talking about who is Deebo Samuel. It's the guy that ran over your whole defensive line to seal the deal. But I honestly think that they could be literally just smoke screening everything. It's not like teams don't watch other teams' pressers and see what's going on. It's not like they don't have dudes keeping a look.
It ain't even just pressers. I mean, they look at everything. And if you look at 49ers social media, it's heavily covered by people other than just the beat writers. So, every day we're getting, stats from practice, passing numbers, who got the most targets, who got the most catches. I saw KP from Niners Nation put out like specific formation and things that they were working on with Trey Lance in the run game. So you're getting specific details with what's going on with the 49ers and what Kyle Shanahan is kind of thinking. So, that is a little tough. But real quick, I want to say, if you guys aren't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're over on Periscope, come over on YouTube, man. Come over on YouTube. We got the link. I'll put the link back in here again. So anybody else that wants to come on and kind of talk about their stance on this, or if you have anything else that you want to talk about pertaining to the 49ers, hey, the floor is open. The floor is yours. It's a Friday. I'm actually in my office. Man, I've been here for like a week now, man. My family, everybody got COVID at my house. So I just left my house. I've just been in my office. So I'm either here or I'm at the gym where I train athletes. So I've been quarantined. I got a blow-up mattress right here, man. So, hey, I ain't got nothing but time, man. So whatever y'all want to talk about, we're good. We live. So, or I might have to go live on somebody at like 5 o'clock, I think. But we're good, at least for the next 30 minutes. So,
blessings to you and your family, man. I hope everybody gets better. Yeah, I just learned my nephew got it too. So yeah, man. We all trying to hope that everybody gets past it. I saw E-Man come back from it, and Juwan Jennings is back from it today. So they were both out there. And to be honest with you, I like Jennings. I honestly like Jennings over Hurd. And I know a lot of people probably gonna give me all kinds of flack for that, but I don't necessarily care. I like Jennings. This is the reason. Number one is the fact that I think Juwan Jennings brings a different type of element to the wide receiver position that Jalen Hurd does not. You got to remember, Jalen Hurd, first of all, he got knocked the rust off, and he just got targets today. Juwan Jennings was killing the game in OTAs, and he was getting targeted. Had COVID not caught him, I think he would have been in the running right behind Mohamed Sanu to get that number 3 spot. You see what I'm saying? And honestly, I think the slot person should be Deebo Samuel, provided we can give another wide receiver the full outside position as they should. If Mohamed Sanu is looking like they say he is, then why not throw Deebo on the slot? It's easy to hit him on a quick slant because you already know he gonna slant and go. Like, you've seen these things from him. I like Jalen Hurd from what I saw at Baylor, but that's all I've seen. And I'm one of those people, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you sit on my team and you injured all the time, I don't like you. I prefer. I'm just being 100 with it, and it's nothing against people personally because I don't know these people. But from a fan standpoint, you just sucking up cap space in a roster spot.
Right.
I'm not saying don't get your bread because yes, the lifespan in the NFL is really short. But at the end of the day, it's like everybody's like, oh, well, they drafted him and they drafted him high, so they want to see what he has. That's the issue. We can't see what he has because he can't never get on the field. The man couldn't catch the flight to the Super Bowl strictly based on the fact that it was going to bother his back. So look at Jerick McKinnon, ungrateful, completely ungrateful. Got on Deebo Samuel live, and hey, you coming back? F no, man. On to the next team. And where are you now? Sitting in Kansas City, probably 4th running back on the roster. Come on, bro. Like don't do that. Be appreciative of what you have. I get it. Internally, we don't know what happened. Sometimes people can be treated unfairly. But we treated Jerick McKinnon from the optics, from the outside in, treated him fairly well. And we paid him for all those years. He sat on the sideline with a bum knee. So I just think that Jennings is going to come out and ball out, man. I feel like he has that energy and that drive and that will. And, you don't hear nothing from Jalen Hurd. No targets, no nothing. You didn't hear anything. I know they're easing him back in. He did.
He got his first catch of 11-on-11 today.
Congratulations to that man. But what people don't realize is I need to see that on a consistent basis in game. I'm not finna crown you. I'm not finna give you no love. I'm not finna show you no type of attention if you ain't out there producing in the game. I'm sorry. That's what you get paid to do. That's your job. My job as a fan is to look at you and say, you're making my team better. You're making us better. That gives me a reason to continue to root. But when you just on the sidelines and you hurt, I understand it's out of your control, but I can't help that you injury prone either.
Right. Now I feel that. And you know, it's tough because real quick, let me address some of these comments here. All right. And then I'll get back to Jalen Hurd. All right. So here we go. All right, we got Daniel here. Additionally, Deebo gets those end rounds too, so he's going to get the rushing yards and touchdowns. And that's what I was saying. And that has to factor in to his fantasy output, right? Because if you have him on your team and he's scoring touchdowns, especially if you guys are entering my challenges, I usually have some challenges on Underdog Fantasy, right? If you guys want, I can throw one up right now, have a little challenge, everybody enter it. It's best ball. So the way best ball format is no matter where you draft a guy, or you don't have to set a depth chart. You have your team. Now your team doesn't change. There's no waiver wires. There's none of that. Your team doesn't change, but you draft your team, and then whoever has the best output, that's who they automatically start. So it takes like your best production players, and then boom, that's how they set your roster. So whoever you're playing against, they get the same thing. So it's actually pretty cool. But if you have a Deebo Samuel who you think, man, maybe his production might fluctuate a little bit, well, you have him on, as long as you have him on your roster and he has a big game because he has 7 catches for 70 yards, but he has 3 carries for 40 yards. So now he got 110, but then he has 2 touchdowns. Boom, big time production. I think that's something that we can see kind of consistently from Deebo Samuel, as long as he's healthy. And that's a big thing. But if you're not already, underdogfantasy.com, sign up right now or download the app, Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Crocky, when you put down the minimum $10, promo code Crocky gives you an additional $25 into your account. And they got pick'em stuff, they got fantasy stuff. It is a great app. So I'm telling you, download it right now. You guys won't regret it. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. All right. Dion, I'm gonna let you answer some of these questions too, man. What's your early, or before we do that, hold on, because I said I wanted to get to my take on Jalen Hurd and Juwan Jennings and stuff. But it's tough, man, because he is hurt. And I try to look at these guys for kind of what they were from my evaluation standpoint. Now, obviously, I have to take into consideration the injuries, right? Like, he hasn't played in 2 years. So my expectations aren't high. But my expectations were never high on him just really being able to kind of recover from that, right? You had a back injury, then you had an ACL injury, and that's tough, right? So you go from that to now he's on the field. But I remember pre-draft watching him. And I'll say this, man, for somebody that was 6'5", 230 pounds, you do not. And my guy, Jasper Rose, if you guys tune in on Wednesdays, we have Whiteout Wednesday. And my guy, Jasper Rose, he was also kind of rebuttaling this. You don't, or regurgitating this, you don't see guys 6'5", 230 that run routes like him, that are able to sink their hips like him, that have good feet like him, that can get in and out of their breaks like him. And maybe some of it comes from his running back background, and you see that when he finishes. But he is very rare in the sense of how he's able to move. He almost moves like Dante Pettis, but he's like a jumbo-sized Dante Pettis with the physicality of Anquan Bolden or DK Metcalf. Now, his straight line speed isn't crazy, right? So he's not going to just run away from people. But from just a pure route running standpoint, being able to get in and out of his breaks, be able to do all those things, man, like he's terrific. So like that's what the excitement was, and that's what we were expecting. Unfortunately, we haven't seen it because of the injuries. As far as Juwan Jennings, I think a lot of people will kind of beat down on him a little bit because of his, lack of 40-yard dash, that long speed. But I think there's a clear way of how he wins, and the way he wins is he wants to get to a spot, put you on his back, catch the ball. And we saw the year he was coming out, I want to say him and Brandon Aiyuk, they were like 1 and 2 in yards after catch. So this is a guy that is terrific after the catch. But again, what one guy does and how he does it might be different than what the next guy does. So Juwan Jennings, terrific after the catch is going to look different than a Brandon Aiyuk or like an Odell Beckham or Stephon Diggs or anything like that. It's going to be a little bit more physical. It's going to look a little bit more like Deebo Samuel. But I think a lot of people, when they think of pure receiver, and this is the knock on Deebo in comparison to Aiyuk, when people think pure receiver, they think it's supposed to look like, oh, everybody supposed to look like Stephon Diggs. Everybody supposed to look like Antonio Brown. Everybody, and it's like, no, there are some people
like
that are going to look more like Larry Fitzgerald that runs to spots, gets there, body guys, good hands. There's going to be some guys that look more like Anquan Bolden, right? He's not a separator, but he's physical at the catch point. And then you have a guy like Deebo Samuel who's kind of a mixture of both. He's not all the way this way, all the way that way, but he's terrific at the line of scrimmage. His releases, he understands how to attack leverages. He understands how to attack blind spots. He understands how to put his foot in the ground, break across. He's explosive. He has good route running, but I mean, you're not going to mistake him for Diggs. But then he's also not he's not like Anquan Bolden in the sense of he's a little bit more explosive than that. So there are areas where Deebo, I think he's kind of a little bit misunderstood, and I think a lot of it comes from how the 49ers utilize them. All right, but Dion, help me here, man. Oh, hold on, here we go. Love the show. Excited about the season. Hey, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the contribution. Our contributions are always welcome. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm excited about the show and where I'm going with it, man. Like, there's some things coming up with Croc Talk TV you guys will see, but I think it's going to be some good things, not just for me, but for other people as well. So I'll be announcing those things soon, just kind of tightening up all the loose ends with everything. But I think it's going to be something really cool for a lot of people, man. But I appreciate the contribution. All right, real quick, let's get back to it. Where was it at? I can't find it right now, but someone asked about
wide receiver depth.
Yeah. So right now, if you had to guess, you got to keep 6 people, Dion. Who you keeping?
Okay, so we got the obvious 2 with Deebo and Aiyuk. Right after that, you're going to want to keep Mohamed Sanu. I always feel like it's always good to keep a wily vet. It just is. And plus, from the way that they latched on to Emmanuel Sanders to the way that they latched on to Mohamed Sanu, those young guys want the veteran leader in there to keep them in line and keep them, growing. Hey, what do you do to take care of your body? What's this? What's that? Right after that, I'm going to have to go. Honestly, I'm going to say Juwan Jennings, Jalen Hurd. And to be honest with you, the sixth receiver would be Travis Benjamin. That's only because of his return ability. I want him to be there. I want him to return kicks. That's what he's there for. That's the only reason we brought him in. Travis Benjamin ain't going to be on the field catching the passes. We all know that. And people will sit up there and they'll be looking like, well, no, man, Travis Benjamin is a punt and kick returner, sir. That's what he is. We understand it. No disrespect to the man.
He caught a deep ball today. He did catch a deep ball today from Trey Lance.
Okay, but Travis Benjamin is ridiculously fast. Like, that's to be anticipated. Travis Benjamin ain't out there running a route tree like that. Let's just keep it a buck. He's not running a route tree like that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't see Austin Watkins Jr. making the squad. You know what I'm saying? Haven't heard much about him. And what I did see is they start putting – Kyle said it today in the presser. He said, we always have the like the number one receivers and the number one tight ends run with the 2s and sometimes the 3s. Yeah, but you don't hear about it like you hear about it while Trey Lance is there. I can tell you that, because randomly they're like, oh, well, he doesn't run with the first team offense. He's a second string quarterback. Okay, you keep telling us that. You lied to us so many dang times, Kyle. Ain't no way we can trust you, bro. Kyle is like that dude that serially cheats on his woman, and every time she just keep taking him back, and he just keep lying to her and telling her everything gonna be okay this time. It ain't gonna happen no more. That's just how it works. But if I was to choose, I would go Deebo Aiyuk, Mohamed Sanu, Jennings, Jalen Hurd, and like I said, I'm gonna throw Travis Benjamin in there strictly because of his return ability. And then if we decide to go 5 wide, I could throw him a go route easy and make it and have. You got to remember, I got Aiyuk out there, so you got to guard him because he can catch something crazy. I got Deebo here, so if I even go in motion with the 49ers motion continuously all the time, if I put him in motion, you got to be scared of what he's going to do
You
to
got to
you.
respect it.
You got to respect it. Like there's too many things, you know what I'm saying? And even if I don't want to throw Travis Benjamin there, I'll throw George Kittle in there. So have fun trying to tackle that big, huge, random. Like he is massive. That's a large
Right.
individual, and he blocks like a offensive lineman. So
Right.
I mean, those would be the guys that I would go with as far as wide receiver depth, because I don't see anybody else putting themselves out front. That's gonna make me think that they should be, head and shoulders above the rest.
We got Westbrook in here. He said, Sherfield.
You know what? I like the fact that he said that. I completely neglected the kid. He has been catching some balls. I have heard that he's been showing out in camp a little bit. Maybe you can transfer out Sherfield with Benjamin, strictly because Sherfield does provide the gunner on the special teams and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, is this just camp stuff, or are we going to see this in games? Like, I like Trey Lance. I'd love for him to be out there and be able to play week one. But I do appreciate the development of a quarterback. I'm a little old school. I like the fact that Aaron Rodgers sat a couple of years behind Brett Favre and then got on the field. You know why? He was able to learn. He was able to watch things happen in real time. You know what I mean? So,
but I will say this. Yeah, he did. He did learn. And I know it helped him to some extent. But it didn't help him as soon as he stepped on the field. I mean, even after sitting all those years, he still did they go 6-9 his rookie year? Something like that. It wasn't.
They
it
didn't
wasn't
have a great. Yeah,
so
it wasn't great.
So, and I said rookie year, but I mean, really, that was like his fourth year in the league, right? And then they had to sign him right then and there, not really knowing 100% what he is, but they signed him. But I say all that to say, are you better off? Now let's look at it like that. List from this standpoint. Okay. So they had Brett Favre, and I'm pretty sure they're thinking, well, Brett Favre gives us the best chance to win the Super Bowl. Right?
Of course, yeah. And Iron Man,
and you have
that boy A-Rod, he ain't going down.
Right, and you have A-Rod sitting behind him, right? But at the end of the day, they did not win a Super Bowl with Favre during that time. All right, so if they didn't win no Super Bowl with him during that time, and then finally you play A-Rod and he doesn't play as well his first year starting, and that's with a loaded team. Now, eventually, I think the year after that or so, they did win the Super Bowl. But why not give A-Rod those reps to improve right away? And then maybe in year 2 or so, boom, now you got the Super Bowl instead of 5 years goes by because you prolonged his development and his experience. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to Trey Lance, the 49ers haven't, everybody talk about Super Bowl, bro. 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994. No, so my thing is, what can we do? Like this guy, like we know though, when he's on and he's clicking and he truly grabs the offense and understands it, we off him running, right? Like it's over. We got elite talent. We got a great head coach. We have a terrific roster around him, right? So why not give him that experience and that opportunity now to learn? Yeah, there's going to be the ups and downs. Yeah, there's going to be some of the growing pains, but that's going to make him that much better next year to where now it's like, man, we done seen some ups, we done seen some downs, but we saw a lot of ups. We saw a lot of potential. We saw him throwing the ball downfield. Guys are making plays. Maybe we won 9 games, 10 games, whatever it is, when, maybe we hope to win 12 or whatever, double-digit numbers. But the following year, now we built on something because now he got all that experience, and we got that out the way. So now everything that he maybe needed to learn, those lumps he was going to take, he already took those as a rookie. Now it's go time. And you still got everybody, because everybody that's on this team now, I mean, some of the secondary guys might leave or whatever, but, we can replace those, whatever. But for the most part, especially the offensive weapons, they are all going to be back. Kittle, Aiyuk, Deebo, Juszczyk, the running backs, you got Sermon, you got Mitchell. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's going to be back. So the whole O-line, they're all going to be back. So why not throw them in there now? And again, it might not result in the Super Bowl, but down the line, unless you really think like, man, hey, no, we will win the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. I think it's highly unlikely. Again, 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994. And you can get there with Jimmy G, but you need everything to go perfect, right? And you might not have that defense you had in 2019. So give your young dude those reps now. Give your young dude that opportunity now, that experience now. And next year it's all go. Now maybe he might surprise us, and maybe they win it all this year with Trey Lance, right? Probably unlikely, but maybe it happens. But I know next year he gonna be ready to go. Instead of, well, we went with Jimmy this year, and okay, we gave Trey Lance an opportunity to learn and stuff, and then well now Lance has to play this year. We still not sure what we gonna get, and it's like, man, we could have figured that out last year. See what I'm saying? And built on that. So that's just kind of my theory with it on why I would lean more towards playing him right away. I don't think they're gonna do that unless he just beats out Jimmy G. But that would be my mindset. I would probably start him no matter what.
You make a whole lot of sense, and your argument was extremely valid as far as why you would put him on the field now. The number one thing for me, to be honest with you, I'm going to that first preseason game next week. Like that's my first time at Levi's. I've never got to go to Candlestick, so I'm gonna go out there. Yeah, I'm there.
Where you from?
Wife. I'm from Cali. I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay, you from LA. Okay.
Yeah. So I've never been. You know how it is. Like when you in Cali, certain times depending on what you do, you don't necessarily travel. So I've never been to the Bay. Like that's never. I've never been to the Bay, bro. Like I lived in California pretty much all my life. I live in Arizona now, but I've never been to the Bay. Never been to Frisco, Oakland, none of that. So me going there, that's the first experience. But I'm gonna go there, and my eyes are gonna be glued to Trey Lance with every single thing he does. I hope that they let him play at least a good full quarter, so he can knock the rust off. I want him to make the mistakes in the preseason, so he ain't making them, in the regular season, provided he has to play. Because a lot of the things, what they're saying is, like today, he didn't have necessarily the most fantastic day, from what I was just reading. And that's fine. He's going to have growing pains. You'll have those people out there that'll be like, oh, well, he sucks. Put Jimmy G back in. No, those are growing pains. You mean to tell me that you were perfect at something the first time you did it? You know how rare that is at anything in life? You must take time to grow. So I understand what you're saying. And I mean, hey, look, if he comes in the preseason and he can give me some ridiculous plays, and I can see that it's just flat out different and it's not practice, then I think I'd definitely go ahead and change my idea of things, strictly based on the fact that people sometimes will, they'll show you something in the games they didn't show you in practice. I like practice. Practice gives you a lot. But if I see him in that preseason game just go ridiculous, and the cool thing is I get to go Kansas City, I get to go to the opener, and I get to go right back next week. I'm just going to drive to LA because my boy is a diehard Charger fan. He got Charger tickets. So I'm going to that at SoFi. So I get to experience SoFi, and that's a brand new stadium. Ain't nobody experienced that.
All right. And the Kansas City one, it's in the Bay?
Yeah, it's in the Bay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I ain't that far. I'm 5 hours from Kansas City. So I drove there.
We in the Bay on that one. But I mean, I honestly I like what you said, and you make total sense. I just need to see him play. He ain't played in a year, man.
Right. That's part of it. That's part of it.
I'm a little leery. I want him to get that rest off. Like if they play him for a quarter and a half, I'm not mad at that. Give him some time, but don't sit him and don't protect him so much that because you feel like he's making all his progress in practice. At the end of the day, until somebody is really rushing you, trying to tackle you, you don't really develop that well. You can develop from a mental standpoint, but your body physically, one thing I heard a lot of players talk about is like their bodies will tell them when it's football season. You know what I'm saying? Favre said, like his body just literally there'd be certain things going on that, he just knew, all right, it's time to get back into football shape. I got to do these things. You got to build that football callus. Like you got to be wanting to get hit and continue to do it. I was never big enough to play football, so I just ran track.
How big are you?
I'm only 5'6". I'm 5'6", and right now I'm 180.
Okay.
So in high school, I was 5'6", 142, 147 on a good day. You know what I'm saying? So did I have the skills? Yes, but I didn't have the weight. My football coach told me straight up, he was like, if I could throw a good 30 to 40 pounds on you, you'd probably be starting. But I can't. So I need you on that track running for us because that's the only thing you can provide me. And I did that. But I honestly think that Trey is going to be ridiculous in the league. And I believe that our receivers will actually excel more under him because why Jimmy throwing the ball after practice, working on a deep ball? Bro, you should have that down packed by now. Okay, you work with Tom House because Tom House works with Tom Brady. So if you work with Tom House all the time, why isn't Tom House telling you? Because you had homeboy on that was talking about the mechanics and everything.
Yeah,
So
my
if
dog
this
Red.
dude is, if he's sitting here telling you, Jimmy, call this dude up. Look at what Crocky done did. He done gave you an out. This young man is telling you your mechanics is trash, bruh. Get it together. You need to do certain things, and that's sometimes it's just humbling yourself. You just got to look at it and go, you know what? I need to get better. But I honestly see Trey taking the offense to a whole nother level. And I do see a repeat of Josh Allen to an extent, but actually better.
Yeah.
Oh, he just got paid, by the way, too. Man, got
What
broke
to
off.
158 guaranteed.
Jesus.
Yeah. But man, Dion, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate you giving me the time to be able to hang out with you, bro.
Yeah.
And anytime you do this, I'm immediately first. I'm first, second person sitting in the back.
All good, bro. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. You have a good day.
All right, you too. I'm my dog Dion, man. I appreciate him coming on. I'm gonna get into the secondary now, actually, let me check and see. Does anybody have anything else? What I missed? Here we go. D. Lewis, what up? What up, Big Croc? Yeah, let the Croc talk. How soon you see Trey taking over? Man, I didn't think I would say this before, but Jimmy Garoppolo, he might be in trouble. We'll see. It's right now, and obviously we saw today Trey Lance had a kind of coming down to earth, coming back to earth day where he was just a little bit more regular, still completed the deep ball, so you still got to see a lot of things or something that you would want to see. I think I saw Grant Cohn. I saw Grant Cohn put out his stats overall for training camp, and he's still like a 70-something% passer. He's still it was like 37 for 44 throughout all the training camp, or at least in the last 4 days. So obviously, like that's excellent. And Trey Lance's numbers are still up, even with him ending today's practice with 3 straight incompletions. So yeah, man, I think there is a scenario where Trey Lance can play right away. It's just gonna come down to what he looks like in training camp, and in preseason. And you did hear, finally, you heard Kyle Shanahan, and he said he's gonna start working them in with the ones. That does not mean that it's a quarterback competition, but he's gonna start working them in with the ones, which means it's a quarterback competition. Like, come on, Kyle, what you think we're stupid? All right, man, but all right, here we go. So load up the band, Croc. Hey, hey, it's coming. It's coming. It is coming. I promise you. Again, if you're not already, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. All right, all that good stuff. Again, this show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't already, I'm telling you, download the app, Underdog Fantasy, or go to underdogfantasy.com. When you sign in and you deposit a minimum of $10, promo code Crocky, that's going to get you an extra $25 added to your account. I'm going to have a fantasy league. I actually have one right now. I got 3 spots open. I got 3 spots left. So what I'll do is with those 3 spots, if y'all want, once this ends, I'll put y'all in there. Oh, man, I got to go on live with somebody in 4 minutes. So I can't even get into the cornerback stuff. I wanted to get into Jason Verrett and some of the corners, all right? But how's Jalen Hurd looking? Man, I wish I was there to see. He got his first catch. I think that's awesome, right? I mean, the guy, I got a soft spot for guys that battle back from adversity, and he's one that's definitely battled back from a ton of adversity. Back-to-back injuries, the back, the ACL, that's tough. I heard, from my boy, if you guys don't tune in on Wednesdays for Whiteout Wednesday with my guy, Jasper Rose. He actually spoke to Jalen Hurd's dad crossing paths at the airport and talked about how just everything was kind of weighing on Jalen Hurd. And it's great to see him out there. So that's awesome. Just the fact that he's out there when a lot of people thought he'd never put on the 49er uniform, helmet, or anything again. Next issue is I expect him to be playing in the preseason game coming up. Tart is getting cut. It's my prediction, unfortunately. Man, I hope not, man. Tart's a good football player. He's got to stay on the field. But all right, man. Hey, I might come back tonight. Again, like I said, I ain't got nothing going on. So I might come back tonight because I did want to get into the cornerbacks or the secondary. Jason Verrett, I think he's primed for a big year. I want to get into that. I ain't getting to that yet. So make sure you guys, if you aren't already, subscribe, like, turn on the notifications because I will be going live again tonight. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm out. Hold on. Where's my? Here we go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Croc Talk TV podcast. Peace.